Okay, do stay on. Dilip Bhatta Prabhudas Leeladhar is also with us on the show. Dilip, thank you very much for joining in. It's picking up for the markets at 18,170 as we speak. Sensex clocking in nearly 100 points. Big earnings reaction scene, right? Britannia on the way up, Marico on the way down. Your thoughts on what we saw today? Titan, good numbers, but the stock is under pressure. Valuation's a bit of a concern. The three FMCG numbers that were out, your thoughts?
Well, I think Titan came out with the very rocking numbers without any doubt. I think on all the fronts, the results were pretty much pretty good and pretty decent. Without any doubt, the market expectations continue to be very high, especially for the frontline stocks, and Titan being one of them. So I think maybe the reaction is partly due to the slight over expectation, or maybe just having met the expectations and not exceeded them. But having said that, I think Titan is a stock that one should definitely watch, and one should accumulate at every fall without any doubt, because I think we see that next couple of years, Titan has positioned itself so well, and particularly being in an organized sector, I think it's going to do a lot more in terms of the performance, both in terms of top line as well as in terms of the bottom line. So Titan certainly looks pretty good. And as far as Britannia is concerned, I think a lot of news hovering around the company and the management was probably taking its toll. And the very fact that they have taken a very hefty price increase as compared to on a YOY basis of something like 16 to 18%, I think that also has helped them quite a bit. And going forward, we all expect that the commodity inflation will sober down, and that is where I think we'll see the expansion of margins further for Britannia. So I think that company also looks pretty good. Caveat being out over there that the group as such requires a lot of cash for their airlines operation, and I think that is something which is going to weigh for some more time on this particular company.
Dilip, this entire rail infrastructure stocks and the move, there is RVNL, RailTel, IRCON, IRFC. I don't know if you want to call sort of count IRCTC in that, but you know it's come alive. And how? RVNL, of course, is the leader of the pack. Is this just rotation into what are cheap stocks, or this is a strong move backed by sort of capex spending on railways, etc.? What's your sense?
Well, IRCTC, very frankly, we don't think it's really a cheap stock at the moment, because valuation-wise, it's reasonably quite high. But as far as the other stocks are concerned, as what you very rightly pointed out, in anticipation of a good capex and a capital play, I think they are the ones who are really coming into the radar. And of course, all these stocks are reasonably are available at very reasonable levels. But I'm not too sure whether this is going to be momentum or this is secular long term. I'm not too sure, nor I'm too enthused by some of these companies. I would still prefer to wait and watch, and particularly as their PSs also, there are a lot of uncertainties and volatility surrounding them.
Okay, all right. Hi, Dilip. Request you to stay on with us for the time being. Let's hop across to Sonia. Well, she's joining in with a couple of brokerages on TVS Motors. Couple of them, Sonia, they're revving up the Axi out there and revving up the engine, while CLSA, I think, is putting the brakes on it. Tell us more.
Absolutely. There's a bull and bear case argument on TVS Motor, and I just wanted to put that forth for our viewers. On the bull case, you have Nomura, there's UBS and Macquarie. Nomura has in fact upgraded TVS to a buy. They've raised their target price to 1382. UBS has a buy with a target price of 1355, and Macquarie has an outperform. They've raised their target price to 1260. Now, the reasons are well known. The success of the new models, you've had a very good response to the new electric vehicle iQube. Margin tailwinds are the big positives. Nomura says that export challenges are likely in short term, but the TVS group will definitely outperform. Now, on the bear side, you have CLSA that has a sell with a target price of 932. They believe that the valuations are very expensive after the big run-up that we've seen in the stock. The stock is now trading at 30 times FY24 EPS. BofA Securities has downgraded to an underperform. They have a target price of 1030. Once again, they reiterate that valuations have no room for error at all. Also, the weakness in exports continues to be a bit of a concern. In the EV business, although the business is doing well, initially there will be losses which you'll have to sort of factor into the P&L, and there is competition risk as well. Competition is coming back aggressively in the electric vehicle space with Ola back at 20% market share. Honda is having a new EV launch next year, and macro headwinds in Africa will continue to drag the market. So there are equal cases for both a bull and a bear. You can take your pick.
Okay, all right, Sonia, thanks a lot for that. Well, Dilip, which side are you leaning forward to? TVS Motors clearly has been the big outperformer. I recall the margins of 7 to 8%. Sonia used to tell us it's hoping to get to double digits. They've got to double digits. The problem now is that, valuation-wise, it's not cheap. Your take on the stock?
Certainly. I think, Nigel, I think what I would think is that the sector as a whole is still under a shadow. And whether you take the leaders, Hero Motorcycles or even Bajaj, I think they are also under a shadow. And the sales of two-wheelers particularly has been very tentative. So without any doubt, TVS has outperformed. But at 30 times or something like 24, I don't think that it's very cheap. And unless until you're a leader in that sector and you're outperforming, then it's a different story. But not being a leader and to chase the stock, not to say that TVS is, of course, considered to be one of the best management in the country today. But having said that, I would still not be in a hurry to buy TVS Motors from the current level. I would prefer to wait and watch. At best, I think I would still look for some more fall to come before I think I could think about, before I could decide to buy on this.
Dilip, great getting your views in. Thank you very much for joining in. Markets are ticking higher. Big boy Reliance Industries is now contributing. That's up close to about 0.5%. HDFC Bank has inched up to about a 0.8% gain. ONGC is following the bit of an up move that we are seeing in crude prices as well. So ONGC is now at that high point of the day. We'll get into a break on that note. On the other side, we'll get chatting with Nilotpal Sahai of HSBC Global Asset Management.